Honestly, I feel a little weird standing outside of a police station, getting ready to go into a police station wearing a bandana. I promise you, it's because we're trying to be safe. But we're here in Pensacola, Florida, tying up some loose ends, so to speak. You see, about a year ago, we did a video of Ted Bundy's time here in Florida. We followed from point A to point B, his execution, but we didn't capture, so to speak, where Ted Bundy was captured here in Pensacola. Also, inside this police department, the Pensacola Police Headquarters, they have his actual mugshot on display for the public.
Wherever I come, bad luck just comes my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always coming my way.
Pensacola authorities are still assessing the impact of having caught one of the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives. The identification of the mystery man as Theodore Robert Bundy hit law officials like a bombshell. Bundy was being sought for questioning in the deaths of at least 38 women from Seattle, Washington to Tallahassee, Florida, and was just last week placed on the FBI's 10 most wanted list. Since his arrest in Pensacola Wednesday, he has been intensively interrogated about the bludgeoning of 5 FSU co-eds in mid-January, including 2 Chi Omega sorority sisters who died. There was a hectic day of developments that began with a news conference early this morning where State Attorney Curtis Golden said Florida officials have first claim on the much sought-after suspect.
We've talked to the authorities in Colorado, yes. We've had inquiries from numerous places in the United States.
What do they want to do?
Well, they're awaiting our decision here as to what we're going to do.
When do you make that decision?
Brad, I cannot tell you at this time when the decision will be made. We are continuing our investigation locally. I understand that other authorities in Florida are performing an investigation of their own with reference to other crimes. The decision will be made after all of the investigations have been completed.
Golden said request for extradition will be forthcoming from Utah as well as Colorado. Bundy was serving time in Utah for kidnapping before being extradited to Colorado, where he was to stand trial for the 1975 murder of a young Michigan nurse. It was from a jail near Aspen that he escaped on December the 31st. He remained at large until 1:30 a.m. Wednesday when he met Pensacola Police Patrolman David Lee.
I was patrolling west side of town, and it was noted that it was a suspicious vehicle behind a building. And as a matter of routine, I was running a check on the tag when it did come back as a stolen vehicle. This time, the traffic stop was made, and the subject did resist arrest.
Were there shots
Yes, sir, there were 2 shots fired.
By him and you?
No, sir, just by myself. He wasn't armed. There was no weapon found on him.
Did he resist arrest with violence?
Yes, sir, he did.
What did he do?
Initially, when I was placing the handcuffs on him, he kicked my feet out from under me and struck me with a handcuff that had been placed on one wrist.
Bundy has yet to be charged in Pensacola with any offense more serious than resisting arrest with violence, and he remains jailed without bond. At a brief court hearing this afternoon, his court-appointed public defender attempted to obtain medication for the suspect, who reportedly is having trouble sleeping. The judge said okay, providing he is examined by a physician first. Authorities from Washington, Colorado, and Utah reportedly will be arriving this weekend to question him about at least 20 other murders. Meanwhile, Tallahassee detectives are still in town quizzing him about the 2 FSU slayings.
As soon as you walk in, right here in the main lobby, there's a picture wanted by FBI Theodore Robert Bundy. Photo taken of Bundy after his arrest in Pensacola, Florida, February 15th, 1978, and right below it is the actual, I'm not entirely sure what you would call it, the placard that he would hold in his photo. See it? 76663 21578. It's crazy. Here's another picture of him up there. Theodore Ted Bundy arrested February 15, 1978 in Pensacola under the alias Kevin Misner. Committed many murders throughout the U.S., executed on January 24th, 1989. There's a glass. Here's a newspaper clipping. That is intense. I also want to point out that if you look at the picture of him right there, you see a little bruise on his left cheek. That happened whenever he was arrested.
So this is really cool because I never thought I'd see one in person, but that's an old lie detector from the 1950s. This whole case is full of really old equipment from like the 1900s up until now. I stared at this for a while just because I'm fascinated. So these two cases right here are really old fingerprinting kits from the early 1900s, and they were put inside this case in 1987. You remember in like films done in the 20s and 30s era, how you take a picture and you'd hold that light bulb? That's the one they use for crime scenes. The actual one, if in the back is the light bulb, and here's the films you would pull out and then put back in, and an actual crime scene camera from the 1920s. That's kind of neat. I've always been really fascinated by any of the gadgets from as early as the 1800s until now, especially like 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. And this is an actual breathalyzer from 1954. I didn't even know they had them back then.
Back in 1978, this building right here, Taste of Jerusalem, was actually called Oscar's Restaurant, and it is ultimately where Ted Bundy's arrest, his killing spree, technically came to an end. On the night Ted Bundy was arrested, he was leaving Pensacola for Mobile, Alabama, where when he got the urge to kill again, so he swung back around, and when the police caught up with him, it was here in the parking lot of Oscar's Restaurant. If I remember correctly, an officer saw Bundy pulling out of this parking lot with his lights turned off. He ran the plates, saw that it was stolen, and the tags were expired, so he pulled him over somewhere down this road, not entirely sure where, arrested him, and it wasn't until 2 days later that he found out who Ted Bundy really was. Crazy. This building has changed hands over the years, and it has been all kinds of different things. At one point, it was an antique mall, and the owner had somebody paint murals right under where it says Taste of Jerusalem now, but didn't have it then. But there were murals of Ted Bundy being electrocuted, his tombstone, and other different things commemorating the exact spot that this happened. The public wasn't too excited about it, so as soon as that building closed, as soon as that business closed, they covered it up. But if you're at all curious as to what those murals look like, here's a picture of them. Getting ready to leave Pensacola after checking out all the Ted Bundy stuff, and we come across this wall that has a whole bunch of skeletons and memorials on it. Absolutely beautiful. Jessica and I both love street art, and we figure this is a great little ending to our little road trip. Check that out. Man, that's beautiful. What are you looking at, baby girl?
I think that this is the artists.
Are they different artists?
I think it is, yeah, because I saw this tag down there at one of them, and I think I saw this tag too.
So I'm not going to read out any of the names, but if you are watching this, or if you know somebody who's created these skull and skeleton murals, tag them, and you guys are awesome. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's very lovely.
Now let's check out the rest of them here. This one here kind of reminds me of Mars Attacks. In a way. And Jessica, you were pointing out that behind, in the background, is just a whole bunch of colorful butterflies.
Yeah, butterflies and skulls. They're all the way around. They're really pretty.
Very nice.
I think my favorite is around the corner.
The dancing skeletons?
Yeah. Because even though we suck at dancing, it makes me think of us.
This one here is like it's like a gem, like a crystal prism sorts. I don't know, but that's neat. Let's walk around the corner here. It's proven to be a little windy. There we go. Yeah, see, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. That's lovely.
I See, I would love to do something like this, but you know what? I'm not that artistic.
I would have loved to see what that was. It looks like it was something done in paper.
Hey, baby girl. Hi, I love you. Thank you for going on another Grimm trip with me.
Hey, look, pants.
Don't take the pants. Leave the pants.
I take the pants. Aww. This was like a memorial to their families.
The different pictures up there?
Well, yeah, they used to be like old musicians. These are birth date and death dates. That was somebody's very old military picture. Somebody's dad, you know.
Right. So it's a memorial. It's like a memento mori of sorts. I guess you would call it that. Right?
Yeah, I wish that they were still up though, which is funny because this one, the way it tore with the skeleton face right on his face. Someone's graduation picture. That is so sweet. You know, basically a memorial to family.
Wherever I come, bad luck is coming my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always coming my way.